How you doing? Welcome to my stream. But actually this is my stream. You are well, you're not really gaming with the Team Monster right now. Right now we are doing a live podcast recording of of the Geek Wolfpack podcast, available over at geekwolfpackpodcast.com. And we are gonna just be doing a talk all about Hawkeye. Now this is where I surrender control of my stream over to the man in the center, Nick Kelly. He's going to be basically doing the driving after this. Nick, are you ready? Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right then. The Nick, when at your discretion, feel free to start podcasting.
Okay.
Well, recording as you do.
Yeah, I'm recording.
All right.
We don't have drop. We're gonna be fine. So that theme song means it is once again time for the Geek Wolfpack podcast, episode number. And you guys won't get it because you're not in here to look at the board.
Yeah.
105. And
we could have guessed.
First since June, because we are slackers.
A little bit.
I'm, as always, your Papa Wolf, Nick Kelly. And with me, as always, is Mama Wolf.
Stacia Kelly.
And Thermal Wolf.
Brandon Kelly.
And we are joined by two very special guests and friends of ours, good friends
Yay.
of ours. You guys want to go ahead and sign on in?
Yeah, I'll sign in. I'm Twitch Dad, a.k.a. the T Monster, a.k.a. Just Old T. Hi, how you doing, everybody? And there's my darling better half, the woman that got me into her cult, the CrossFit of VR. She's got me doing Supernatural now.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
My plan has come together.
Introduce yourself, baby.
Hi, I'm Bowser.
I never thought that day would come based on how hard you were digging your heels in for weeks.
I got him eventually, Nick. I got him eventually.
It wasn't me digging my heels. I just didn't have time. I honestly did not have time, and then things kind of got a little slow around here, and Pip was like, "How about now? How about now?" And I finally said, "All right, I'll do it." The first Supernatural was not pleasant because I'm just gonna come out and say it. It was not pleasant mainly because the definition of low intensity. Yeah. Don't roll your eyes. Your fitness overlords, Pip, are not perfect. Okay, low intensity. Low intensity. Okay, whatever.
We have a cult member in our house too.
We'll get you all soon enough.
I'm just gonna say, if you do Supernatural, it is hella fun. Just remember, low intensity has a very broad range of definition. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, just slightly. See, it's not just me, darling. Okay, I'll stop.
Hey, Hawkeye!
Yeah. So you can see the attire.
Oh look! Everybody's. I didn't realize it was a theme.
Oh dear!
So
I did not understand the assignment.
Yeah, mom-in-law, who has moved in since the last time we did one of these, wanders over, and on Wednesday nights she wanders over, and we have been for 6 weeks consistently watching Hawkeye as the three of us as a family, because we don't want everything spoiled. Unlike stay off internet on Wednesdays apparently was the thing.
Right.
And so I think after about 3 weeks of seeing us do this, she was like, so we all got Hawkeye shirts for Christmas. Now, I think Brandon's the one wearing like his actual one. I think we flip-flopped. You have another one too, because you get your Kate one.
I do. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, it's probably getting washed.
Lost it already?
No, I mean, like, it's probably in the laundry. It's not in my room right now.
Yeah, the graphic novel I got you I stole it because I wanted to read it. Or
there's a kitten sleeping on it because all your stuff, especially especially the hoodie that T and Pip got you for Christmas, has apparently become Breeze.
There we go.
She's
and if I remember correctly,
she is going to shed all the dark fur all over that beautiful sweatshirt.
It is the eighth law of cats. If it's a light colored If it's a light-colored garment, the darker cat will gravitate towards it. And the ninth law is if it's a darker ornament, a darker garment, the lighter cats will be attracted to it.
Yep.
Yes, I expect to have a fair amount of. I got alien stuff
There you go.
for some reason.
Why is that, Pip?
Because I got a book coming out in July with my name on it and aliens in it.
A lot of
death.
aliens. A
Oh,
lot-
6.
and death. And
Lots
death.
of death.
Yeah.
I think it's the most people I've killed in a book so far, actually, which is I'm pretty happy about.
Yeah, I told Brandon the other day, like, I love Dark Pip. You know that. Like, whenever you go, like,
Well, this is
Creepy.
This is like dark
Favorite
chocolate
reading.
Pip right here. This is as dark as they get. Dark as they get.
70%.
and hello, chat. I see chat people popping up in chat. Yeah, so we,
So tell people a bit since this is actually the first time the Geek Wolfpack podcast has been on my stream. Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Geek Wolfpack podcast and what it's all about, and so on and so forth.
yeah. So I made the mistake of deciding to have a conversation with T a number of years ago about doing a podcast, and he laughed in my face and said, "Oh, sure, you'll do one." And like, knowing full well, like that'd be like me telling anybody, "Yeah, you'll get one tattoo."
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
not how tattoos work. Yeah. So we a number of years ago we started playing Dungeons and Dragons online on Roll20, ding, and we wanted to record it because we figured D&D, even pre-COVID, was, you know, it's a huge thing. Gameplay podcasts for Dungeons and Dragons were big, and then we decided we wanted to also talk about like whatever the cool thing was that we saw or went to or participated in or any of that type of thing, and all the pop culture references that we all love so much. If you could see the rest of my office, you would know what I'm talking about. And so we started doing the Geek Wolfpack podcast with ADHD D&D as part of it. And then I realized if we kept that format, D&D would never. I would die. I would die before we finished the campaign. So we broke that off and made it into its own podcast. So there, T was right. There was a second podcast, and then T said, "Let's start a Destiny podcast." So that's Happy Hour from the Tower. That's the third podcast, and that's all I'm doing.
And wait, no, that's not quite right. Then there was another. And then he realized, you know, I will never get caught up with the new group that we have, which includes our daughter, Pips, and my daughter, Sunny, and then everyone's favorite blind advocate, Steve, the blind gamer sailor. So ADHD D&D became ADHD D&D Classic, and then ADHD D&D started up again with Steve and Sunny in play. So that is 4 podcasts.
Theoretically, one more.
And so yeah,
Near the end. So Classic will soon not be a thing. I'm near the end. When
Whoa.
Steve arrives. Only because, like, just like we're doing for most of the winter so far, we took a break.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would never be caught up
Yeah.
in 100 years. So yeah, we're pretty close, and that'll make life easier for me because then I can catch this all up. So I'm excited.
Right. So anyway,
But
chat, real quick, if you have, we're going to be doing a conversation all about Hawkeye, and we're going to be, you know, taking your questions, we're going to be taking your comments. I will be moderating that because this is Nick's, Brandon's, and Dr. Kelly's podcast. I'm just along for the ride. But I do have some thoughts leading into it. I didn't know if I wanted to lead with this or if Nick, were we going to segue in with like what nerdy things are we getting into now, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, or are we just jumping right in?
I think I would love to. How does Hogan put it? Your weekly geekery. Like, I'd love to hear
Yeah.
what everybody's been doing that gets them inspired in their favorite nerdy or geeky way. I'll tell you that COVID is a thing, man. Like, that's really that has really impacted a lot of what we did, 2019 and earlier. Brandon and I have been to a whopping total of 2 concerts this year, which is that's not the norm.
No.
So
Good.
yeah. Well, they were both phenomenal, but yeah, only going to 2 shows is a little weird,
For sure.
So
Yeah.
I tell you what, with everybody starting that off, I will wait until last about what geekery have I been getting into. because everybody here knows the geekery that I've been getting into, thanks to one Phil Rossi. But I'm gonna save that for last.
Oh yeah,
I'll
we got
save
it.
that
We
for last.
definitely have to cover that.
So you guys go ahead. So I'll put my wife into a Pip. What's the geekery you've been getting into that's been getting you been giving you inspiration?
Well, we watched The Witcher. We gobbled that down real quick. I didn't think his Jaskia's second song was quite as earwormy as Toss a Coin to Your Witcher, but it was still a good season. Enjoyed it.
Geralt, I was
got my-
disappointed. I was disappointed. Geralt did not build one gaming computer in the entire run of the
He
Witcher
didn't
season
take a
2.
bath either.
No, well,
I mean,
well,
what the heck?
I'll do you one better. I watched all of season 1 and then watched season 2 in like 3 nights.
Oh, well.
In 3
At
nights.
least you got the bath scene
Wow.
then.
Woo.
So what's
Yeah, Nick walked out and goes,
that?
"Oh, you've had Henry Cavill in the bath scene. I'm leaving."
Okay, so before we get to it, you have not seen Spider-Man, right?
No.
Okay,
No.
so make sure we keep those spoilers out of the.
To ourselves.
Yeah.
Missing out.
We've kind of been slightly spoiled already, right,
Yeah,
T?
yeah, we have been. We have.
We
been.
know who turns up there.
We
know who turns up.
we know that Kevin Feige is probably one of the worst liars next to J.J. Abrams in the
The face of the
industry.
planet.
Okay, it's not. He's not Khan. He's not Khan. He's not Khan Noonien Singh, and they're not dead. They're not dead. They left the island. They're not dead. They're not dead. Anyway,
And
sorry.
also that lawyer. Well, I don't know who that guy is.
Because they're only going to bring back Vincent D'Onofrio. They're only going to bring him back.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. They're only going to bring him back.
So we should probably just go ahead and say that there are going to be spoilers, but that should happen 14 days ago. So if you haven't watched it, then go watch Hawkeye. And
Yeah,
come back and
exactly. And come back and we'll be here. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to sue us, we have a really good lawyer. So
There you go.
that one just-
He's really good friends with Steve. He's really good friends with Steve.
So so Spider-Man, the other stuff that we watched. I mean, obviously, all the Disney Plus shows have been phenomenal. We got back from Spider-Man. And Brandon, you binged a ton of stuff, right?
Yes, actually, I did.
Yeah, because you had not previously watched Doctor Strange, and everybody knows Doctor Strange is in the movie because he's in the freaking trailer.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
a spoiler.
Correct.
Right. That is not a spoiler.
Yeah, so I watched Doctor Strange. I binged all of What If.
Oh!
It's incredible.
Dark.
Yeah, dark. And just last night I finished season 1 of Daredevil for no particular reason.
Felt like it.
Yeah.
So one of the
Yeah.
things, one of the things I was going to say about this is that I'm getting a little burned out about the self-righteous nerds in our circles that get really up in Disney's business, and yet when stuff drops like Hawkeye, like What If, like the book of mother effing Boba Fett, which that pilot episode was on point hard, people bitch and moan about Disney, and I'm like, yeah, but when it comes to them dropping content, you're right there. You've got your nose pressed against the glass going, feed me, and I'm done with it. I'm calling BS. I'm like, if you don't like it, then how about this? Stop bitching about it. Just stop bitching about it, because some of the best stuff, you can't trust George Lucas with Star Wars anymore because we got the prequels because of that. And in all fairness, the
You
episodes
can trust
have been.
Filoni and John Favreau. That's the
I know.
Yes.
Filoni and Favreau have been absolutely on freaking point, and so has been. I would argue Hawkeye has been my favorite. I would say Hawkeye is my favorite of all the offerings. My least favorite, and I know this is going to piss off all the fans and listening.
Okay. You're gonna kick something off, aren't you, T?
I am. Loki. I found
Yeah.
Loki to be just.
Well, you're in trouble now.
It was the parade of fan service from beginning to end. Whereas Hawkeye, you actually got to see what it was like being the guy in the Avengers who
Guy with the stick and the string.
I got a bow and I got an arrow, but I got a job to do. I mean, God
city-
love him.
cities flying. Yeah. Is it Boba Fett that good, or is there a Kiwi bias? Because
There's always a Kiwi slant.
because
Stimmer Morrison.
oh god, so to the same kind of point, we have a bias about Kate Bishop, and I'm going to let Brandon explain
Here we go.
why we were
Here we go.
so excited for this version of Hawkeye.
That's my cue.
That is your
Yes.
cue.
So
Explain
like,
yourself.
yeah, exactly. I don't know when we started playing, but it was at least a few months ago. We started playing the Avengers game on PlayStation together, and
Irony being, I bought it because I thought Hawkeye was in it, and he's not. I mean, Daredevil.
yeah.
No, it's the wrong game.
Yet.
Isn't it?
Yet.
and he's-
Yeah,
Nick.
yeah.
Yet.
Well-
Yet.
A man can pray. #save Daredevil.
I think it
yeah,
just
so-
did, but anyway, go ahead, Brandon.
I think your prayer's been answered, but
But yeah, like we did the main campaign, and it was all like the 6 original characters who are the Avengers, and then also Miss Marvel, who's phenomenal, and the 2 DLC character or expansion update characters that came out were Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. And I had never heard of Kate Bishop before that, but as soon as I saw her moveset, I was just full on attached. And so it was our journey of Miss Marvel and Kate Bishop going through taking down AIM for months every time we played that, and that was
And then we got Pip involved.
yeah.
I love Black Widow on that one.
Yeah, it's the super fangirl Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. If anybody's wondering which one.
She's adorable.
She is
Oh
so
my God.
adorable. She is so
She's just-
adorable.
Just
In fact,
Yeah.
I would dare say that the Ms. Marvel fangirl in the video game is the Hawkeye fangirl we meet in Hawkeye with Kate, because she does have a lot of hero worship for good reason too. For good reason.
But she doesn't have Kate's sass, which is really the get lucky and then play it off as cocky as possible. That's Kate in even in the comics. I could read you some of her dialogue out of this one right here, and you're like, what? Like, how many times did she talk about the abs on the surfers while she's trying to close the case? It's. But even like in the, I mean, there's so much to unpack. I kind of wanted to go through it linear and say, episode 1 through 6. If everybody's done with what they were geeking out about, but I didn't want to get anybody
I
off.
get it. No, I'm interested. I'm here, and I'm not drinking a beer.
We have.
Hey, Pip, I rolled a 1 on my water earlier. It's okay.
You did.
That is true.
I did.
Yeah.
I nubbed it all over everything. My laptop, my boot, in my boot. I was
In your
good.
mood. Yeah. So, let me say, like, we haven't been geeking as much as normal because we've been adding onto the house, remodeling the kitchen, moving mom-in-law in. I don't know that she has a wolf name yet. We'll have to add her to the Wolfpack. And I have a new job, and so it's been insane. But we've kept up on all the Disney Plus stuff. My treadmill show has been Modern Family. We just finished season 10 of Modern Family, so we have one more season to go. And then I have a list. So if anybody has opinions for me to add to things to add to this list.
Okay.
Okay. This is all for my coworkers, so if any of this stuff sucks, let me know ahead of time. 7852, which is all about the psycho shower scene, which I just started. It's insane.
Okay.
Get Back, the Beatles.
That was good.
documentary.
Yeah.
No, we enjoyed that. We enjoyed that.
The Conversation, which is like an old.
Oh, it's a Gene Hackman film. Yeah.
It is a Gene Hackman
Yeah,
film. Yeah,
it's a pretty decent it's a pretty decent spy thriller, but it's all right. It's all right. Not my favorite.
It's on my list. Schitt's Creek, which I haven't watched yet.
I've heard great things about Schitt's Creek. Yeah.
Chestnut Man.
Oh.
You know that one?
I've heard something about it. Yes, just that's very freaky.
It's in a foreign language, right? Is that? Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's Norwegian or Swedish or something.
think
of
so.
those, maybe.
And then I did finish Squid Game. I should put Squid Game on the list. Dope Sick and Kaminsky Method, both of those. Afterlife, Nobody's Fool, and The Hot Zone. So that's the whole list. Which
I would
I'm gonna
add to that. I would add Arcane.
Well,
Ooh,
Arcane,
yes, Arcane.
Arcane.
another Haley Steinfeld project.
Arcane was, and if you loved her sass in Hawkeye, I got good news. She ramps it up to 11 in Arcane.
I mean, if Spider-Gwen wasn't her screen test for being Kate Bishop, I don't know.
No shit. Let's see.
It's a pen from my
I'm
my
trying to
old
remember. Season 6 of The Expanse.
Oh,
Yes.
Three episodes in, and it's kicking ass and taking names. This is
How short is the season? It's this shortened season, right?
and it's the final season, and it is the
So,
final
yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Right now, it's getting a movie, by the way. If anybody knew that.
And so-
We watched The Matrix Resurrections.
yeah,
Why?
well, no, actually, okay. I will, for every 2 things they got right, they would do something that makes you go, why did we have to go there? But I will.
God, Randy, all the
Yeah, the only thing that was really good about it is it fixed the Trinity problem.
Yeah, it does address the Trinity syndrome head on, and that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
But,
fantastic.
I mean,
What's the-
it's not going to.
What's the Trinity problem? Because candidly, I got bored halfway through this movie with a really horrible CGI on the highway, and then I never watched the third one.
So,
Well, the
Go
Trinity,
for it,
the
baby.
Trinity syndrome is,
and that's what they
where
called it. They
you
literally called it the Trinity syndrome.
See,
That.
you're mansplaining the Trinity syndrome.
I'm just explaining the. Never mind. I'll be over here if you need me. Go, darling.
That's literally the Trinity syndrome.
That is not the Trinity
The
syndrome.
Trinity syndrome
Well,
is when
actually-
you have a really... I'm going to come in there
Yeah, I bet you are.
and disconnect you there. When you have a really great female character and she's strong and she's capable and she's amazing at the beginning of any sort of like movie, and then when the male character needs to be strong and amazing and capable, she suddenly becomes less so that he can come to the front and be strong and amazing.
Ugh. Yeah,
And it happens in a bunch of movies, but
100%. And Colleen Wing in Iron Fist.
Yes, perfect
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
And she's actually in the Matrix Resurrections.
I know with the
yes,
blue.
and she's great. She's actually one fantastic.
Yeah, she's
Addition to
great.
it.
She's great.
Wow. So that's cross. That's like
Seeing-
cross-pollination because Carrie Ann Moss is in Jessica Jones and the Defenders.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah,
and I mean,
bring it up.
but like I said, so the Matrix Resurrections, not gonna spoil anything about it. When it doesn't try to top itself, when it doesn't try to top the very first Matrix, it's excellent. But sometimes they went a little too meta, and
A lot of meta in it, yeah.
yeah, some of the meta was
I
hysterical.
mean, a little meta's nice. A lot of meta can sometimes be a little
Yeah.
self-referential kind of stuff, you
Yeah.
know.
It's I mean, the only person that could get away with that much meta is Ryan Reynolds. He's the only one that is allowed to get away with it.
Yeah, it started to venture close to Deadpool territory without
without the Ryan Reynolds charm. That's the thing, without the Ryan Reynolds charm. Which, if that's not on your list, Nick, Free Guy. If you haven't seen Free Guy, I mean, you gotta watch Free Guy. Oh my God, Free Guy is genius.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Red Notice? Was that the Rock?
Oh,
and...
Red Notice. Yeah, we need to watch Red
haven't
Notice.
seen that
We
one
haven't
yet.
seen that one yet. No.
It's
was pretty good.
It's just the three of them being the three of them. It's the Rock being the Rock. It's Ryan Reynolds being Deadpool, and it's Gal Gadot going, "Okay, boys,
Yeah.
it's time to rein it in." So, yeah. Free Guy.
Momming them.
Yeah. Pretty much momming them.
But that's what she did in the Justice League.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay, hang on. Let me get a pen that works. Let me write this down.
Let's see.
If anybody knows, like when I take notes, I take.
Copious notes.
Copious
Copious
notes.
notes.
Copious
Copious
notes. Oh, I did watch The Wheel of Time. I don't know if you guys have read the books.
I haven't read the books, but I was watching it too.
I'm not 260 years old, so I haven't read all the books.
I read the books when they first came out, and I really liked the first one. And then the second one was okay. And then the third one, that's where I started. I was like, I'm not bothering reading anymore. So I know the first book pretty well. And I have to say, I don't know what you thought, Stacia, about the first episode, but I did not think it was good. It was like, it literally had, I felt like, oh, here comes Gandalf, i.e. Moraine, and they're going to get the hobbits, i.e. those 4 knuckleputts. Oh, and now now they've got to run, they're being chased, and they get to the ford, and they've got to get on the little barge to go across, and I was like, hold on. This seems familiar.
Paying a whole lot of attention to it. I think I kind of had it on as background.
Yeah.
Number of other things,
And
which I do with a lot of things.
Like, for a lot of money that Amazon threw at it, it didn't look that great.
I think you just described all of it. Is what you just did. I think you just took the Sandra Bullock movie and mixed it with the Eternals, and then that's how you get the wheel done.
Something like it did get a little. I mean, I think there was only 8 episodes, which is quite short amount of time. The book is, even the first book it's the smallest book in the series, but it's still thick. And they cut it all out, and I was like, somebody described it as the Cliff Notes version.
Well,
which is pretty it.
Now, I saw that Brandon said in chat, not heard any good things about the Eternals, so let us be the first. We actually enjoyed it.
It's a very different Marvel movie than
it does not feel
any other movie.
Yeah, it does not feel like a Marvel movie. And
it has a lot of heavy lifting to do to kind of bring in this whole new bunch of people.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to. I mean, Spider-Man can just swing in and he's Spider-Man, but these Eternal things, it's like, well, where do these guys come from, and what is their deal, and what is their relationships?
But here's what I thought was, I don't think the Eternals is on Disney yet, Randy, but
January.
But one of the things that I really enjoyed about the Eternals, and Pip had to point this out to me, there's an actor in there. It's a very international cast, very international.
Yeah, very diverse cast.
Very diverse cast. But the guy who's playing Gilgamesh, this Korean actor, I kept thinking, where do I know this guy from? I've seen this guy. I know this guy. Pip leans over to me. She goes, "That's the big guy. That's the big guy from Train to Busan." There's this big Korean dude, and he like taped up his forearms, and he was taking on the zombies. Just hitting them back like this, and it was that actor, and I'm like, oh wow, this guy's really good.
He transitioned over to hitting people in Marvel Universe.
Yeah, so good on him. Good on him.
I think it's worth watching.
Yeah,
I thought it was interesting and different.
Yeah, it was very different.
Maybe we should talk about Hawkeye.
That might help. Yeah.
Hawkeye.
Okay, so for anybody who has not watched it, there are spoilers coming, even though
spoilers are coming.
It's already over. Yeah. That's the biggest problem with Hawkeye, was that it was only 6 episodes. Like, that could have gone 12, and we would have loved every minute.
Easily.
Let me turn Brandon up a little bit because he's quiet.
Sorry.
We need a Yelena spinoff.
We need a Yelena Kate buddy cop movie where they go from they've got to get a car from New York to LA, and they've got 5 days to do it, or the world comes to an end.
I threw out the Blues Brothers reference in your chat.
Oh my god! I
saw it. I was very upset.
We're on a mission from God.
108 miles to Chicago. Half a tank of gas, a full pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
No, hit it. But the difference is with Yelena and Kate Bishop, it's 100. It's 100. How many? 100 what? 103 miles.
108 miles.
108 miles to Chicago. We got half a tank of gas, half a bottle of sriracha. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. You got to swap out the cigarettes with the bottle of sriracha.
So if you, Brandon still hasn't seen Black Widow.
Oh,
that's correct.
You need to remedy that.
Talk about it. I don't care.
Oh, if you like Florence Pugh,
she's
fantastic.
I know.
In that too.
My God, she just crushes every scene she's in.
Stop making me like you.
and the hot sauce was her idea, by the way. Like, just in case anybody hasn't read this, the mac and cheese is a callback to the very, very beginning when they're kids in Black Widow.
Oh,
my mom is making dinner, and she says, I want mac and cheese for dinner. That's why they made it mac and cheese. But the fact that they poured hot sauce on it, and the director's like, we've got to do a bunch of takes. You're going to have to eat that every time. And Florence Pugh was like, hell yeah, I do. Like, she was all about the whole bottle of hot sauce, which I think is my favorite episode. Like, that's episode 5, Ronan, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So all right. So Hawkeye opens. It's New York City. It's Christmas time. Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, everybody knows the Avengers, right? Jeremy Renner is in town with his kids, and they're, in New York doing New York at Christmas things, and a movie marathon, ugly sweater contest.
Whoa! Are we forgetting what we joined them in? The Tony Award winning Rogers, an American Musical. Come on!
Ant-Man.
Wouldn't it be funny if Brandon ended up working on that?
Oh my
project?
God, that would be awesome.
Because I feel like it could come to Broadway sometime
It'll
soon.
happen. Yeah, eventually.
So while Clint's in town with his kids doing New York Christmas things, and we did that pre-COVID. We literally spent like 3 days after Christmas in New York, did Rockefeller Plaza, did all the things that you want to see when you're in New York at Christmas, and then did a day in Philadelphia because why wouldn't you? And then and we saw Elf the musical, and it was phenomenal.
It was so good.
For $30 instead
And for
of.
those of you who don't know, that tree at Rockefeller Center is smaller than you think. It is not the same size tree that they show on all TV, all the movies.
Yeah, they made it quite large.
They make it look larger than it is. It is
They
not
always-
that size.
They always make it look larger than.
That's
Okay,
what
so
she said. All right.
nice. That's what she said. Okay, so while we are catching up with Clint, who we've already met many times in all the Avengers movies, we get introduced to Troublemaker Kate Bishop. Brandon, you want to talk about how she is introed?
Go ahead.
Okay, so she's okay. So they introduced baby Kate Bishop in this. They flash back to 2012 when the Chitauri invade New York, and she gets split from her mom and her dad, and her mom and her have a really weird relationship. But that's comic accurate, by the way. And as the aliens are flying through the sky and everything, she looks through the window and she sees Clint Barton. Oh my God! And he's fighting off the aliens in the exact sequence that he did in the 2012 movie The Avengers. And so when they finally get somewhere safe, she tells her mom, I want a bow and arrow, and thus kicks off the journey of Kate Bishop. But when you see her the next time, it's not hero Kate Bishop, it's I wonder if I can make this shot Kate Bishop, where she's challenged by her classmates, or she challenges her classmates to see if she can make the bell in the bell tower at university actually ring, and she does, and and there goes the entire tower. So you get already that she's kind of not
Avenger material.
let's go with that. Let's go with that. Yeah. So then we move on, and her mom calls her home. She comes back to New York, and she has to go to a charity event, which instead of wearing, the slinky black dress, she just wears an all black tuxedo and gets mistaken for part of the staff, which she uses to her advantage, and then tracks down her shady ass mom's fiance, Jack Duquesne, and finds out that there's a black market auction going on behind the scenes, where we meet the real villain of this whole series, Gary. Which is one of my favorite Kate Bishop lines. Like, see, you don't even know my name. That's why this isn't going to work out. Like that, and he's in the finale. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Is he?
When they're scanning the room, and Clint goes, "Tell me about our assets and our liabilities," and she goes, "That guy over there fired me from one of the only jobs I've ever had."
Oh
It's
my
like-
God, you're right.
That.
You're right.
Yeah. So
Gary.
Good pull.
one of the items at the auction is the Ronin outfit that Clint wore when he was killing people during the blip, when his whole family was blipped. And Kate gets her hands on it and winds up. We get introduced to the tracksuit mafia.
Oh, I love that, bro.
Yeah.
I love Imagine Dragons.
Oh my God! That Kate dating advice, by the way.
Oh my
That's
God!
So good.
on Twitter account, yeah. And so she dresses up as Ronin, and that means all of Ronin's old enemies are gonna show up. So Clint decides to stay in New York. He sends his kids home, and he says, "I have to, go find out whoever's wearing this Ronin outfit." And thus the unlikely partnership. Unlikely partnership of Kate and Clint begins.
But you missed the most important character. Pizza Dog.
Pizza Dog.
Oh,
Lucky the Pizza Dog.
Lucky the Pizza Dog's played by a dog named Jolt, by the way.
Aw.
And both Jolt's eyes work. The one eye patch thing is from the comics.
Does Pizza Dog have? I just wanted a question. Does Pizza Dog have powers, or is just Pizza Dog just? He's
His
just a
power.
dog.
His power is he's a good doggo, honey. His power is that he's a good boy. That's his power. He's a good boy.
In the comics, does he have any powers, Nick?
No, he's Lucky the Pizza Dog.
So I got
Just a dog.
So I got to
the
say
recurring
some.
gag about we need to go back and walk the dog is like that gets called out in the finale also.
So I got to say something real quick about the Tracksuit Mafia. I had never heard of the Tracksuit Mafia until about it was when was that, Pip? Was it the 2012 or 2014 Balticon?
I didn't. I don't know.
Oh, did somebody cosplay the Tracksuit Mafia?
Alex White.
Oh,
Alex White, Stephen
that's
Grenade.
right. Yes, and Hugh,
Alex
I
White,
think.
Stephen Grenade, Hugh O'Donnell, and
They were
and
playing.
Yes,
I just thought they were wearing tracksuits.
No, I was like, guys, what is this? And he goes, and Alex said, we're the Tracksuit Mafia, and then he looks at me and I goes, the Tracksuit Mafia, and all of them go, bro, and I'm like, what the hell? And I actually looked it up. I actually looked it up online, and I'm like, oh my God, there really is a thing called the Tracksuit Mafia. Sure enough, the moment they were introduced, the fact that they actually had a van called Trust a Bro Moving
Trust a
Service.
Bro.
Trust a Bro.
Whoa.
I immediately texted Alex and said, Alex, I really hope you're watching Hawkeye because one of the featured villains is the Tracksuit Mafia. They only said one thing back to me. It was, bro!
I've not paused it to look up the phone number on the Trust a Bro moving vans, but
God.
that's definitely going to happen.
I don't think I would trust the bro to move my stuff.
Trust the Bro.
Yeah, it's Ivan, Tomas, and Enrique are the three who you get from the Tracksuit Mafia. Those are the ones who get speaking lines. Everybody else is a stunt guy who absolutely had the time of their life wrecking New York.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, so Clint decides he's going to do a catch and release, which calls back to Scarlett Johansson as Natasha in Avengers, where she gets captured and this idiot's telling me everything. If you guys remember that scene, and and Kate tries to rescue him, and not so much. But the thing I love about that episode is it almost all takes place in an old KB Toys. Like we used to ride our bikes to the mall or ride our bikes to somewhere to go to KB Toys.
KB
back
Toys,
in the day.
man. Yeah, back in the day. I remember that.
Joke about it's hard to find places that are private and where you can interrogate somebody. Like they make a whole joke about it, and it's we can't afford the whole.
New York's not cheap. I mean, come on. Yeah.
And that's where we meet Cosby, or Clown, which is his comic name, and we meet Maya.
Now, Maya is Maya actually a character from the comics, or
100% from the comics? Yeah.
Unreal.
Oh,
And she is Native American and she is deaf, and Alako Cox, who plays her, is both Native American and deaf.
That's great.
And
That's great.
in the comics, she Kingpin basically kills her father, raises her, and blames it on Daredevil, and she goes after Daredevil. So she's very tied to Daredevil, which is
Okay.
And so they've subbed out some stuff, right? So it was Ronan who killed him, and so they've done a couple of those little sub out jobs on this series. But she's so good. I mean,
is she superpowered, or is she just a badass?
What Maya's superhero persona is Echo, and what Echo can do is the same thing Taskmaster does, which is anything that she sees, she can learn and mimic like immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's she gets her own series. It's starting next year, late next year, and I mean, there's so many layers to that character that I love, and the fact that they, didn't cast somebody who didn't have a disability to play somebody who does have a disability, because it's insanely difficult. I just thought the casting across the board on the show was just so insanely good. I mean, Haley Steinfeld just
she knocked it out of the park. She knocked it out of the park.
And Jeremy Renner, John McClane's the shit out of the show.
Doesn't he though?
It is.
I think that was part of what I was enjoying so much about Hawkeye over all the other stuff we've seen. I mean, I loved What If. I loved WandaVision. Loki, I was kind of hot and cold about. Falcon and Winter Soldier was amazing in my opinion, because we get to see Bucky deal with post-traumatic stress disorder, which wasn't a thing in the 40s.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was just something very, I mean, first off, Sebastian Stan is he is bigger than life on screen, but whenever they shot Sebastian Stan against that wall with the forest, he just seemed so tiny. And I felt the same way about Hawkeye. Like when they said, so how did you lose your hearing? Because you never heard about that. And then they do that great montage of him just, stuff blowing up around him and crashing through windows. And it's like, yeah, that would actually...
Kind of, makes sense.
But I think of all the moments in Hawkeye, my favorite is the one where he is there. He's got all these frozen daiquiris strapped to his biceps, to his forearms, to his legs, and I'm like, I feel every inch of that pain right there, and that's what that's what I enjoyed about both Falcon and Winter Soldier and Hawkeye simultaneously, is that these were superheroes that were just dealing, and you suddenly realize maybe it's not all. Maybe being an Avenger isn't everything it's cracked up to be. You know what I mean? And I just ate up Hawkeye. I just thought it was. I think Rainier was amazing.
He gives Steinfeld so much space.
Yes. Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he does.
And she eats all of it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
and then you would think like it's going to get too cluttered, right? Because we're going to bring in the Kingpin, and we're going to bring in so many like different plot lines, like Echo and all that, and it never feels cluttered.
No.
Like even like the whole Black Widow angle, you're like, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Like as soon as you let Florence Pugh and Haley Steinfeld get on screen together, you're like, oh man, this is a whole different beat than I thought.
Yeah.
We were gonna see.
They
always seem to enjoy bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
Even the fact that Yelena goes, "Oh, this was fun."
Yeah.
Fighting.
Like, just laughter in the elevator, and it's like, oh, what was that? I don't know. Like that to me is like the pinnacle of those two.
And she slaps all the buttons.
No, when she like literally slaps her in the face in the elevator.
Oh,
yeah,
that's when she's like.
And I know there were some people that there were some LARPers apparently online that got a little butthurt about the way they were initially portrayed on screen. But I hate to break it to these LARPers. That's exactly how you guys are, because we got friends that LARP, and they're just as goofy and just as awkward and just as they're all that. But the way that the LARPers were handled,
the LARPers weren't just a one-note chuckle. They were actually developed as well. So kind of cool.
The way they developed the LARPers, I thought, was genius. And I loved it that near the end they were like, well, essentially we're Avengers, But I mean, they They did, and I loved how even Hawkeye was really kind of keeping these guys at arm's length, and then he gets the outfit and he's like, "This really moves. I like the way it feels." You know?
I think that lady's obviously going to get some work from maybe the new Avengers.
I think so too. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about Kingpin, because there's a lot to unpack in one episode.
Man.
And D'Onofrio has already said it's the same. Oh, I want to throw this question out to everybody.
Okay.
Because Brandon, like when Brandon and I watch something and I can kind of like dig layers, and he's like, "Oh, damn it," that makes me happy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, at the end of Daredevil season 3, last time we saw the Kingpin, he was getting taken away. Like Vanessa was like gone, and he lost, right? So, it's been a while since that occurred and the events of Hawkeye. So my question to you is, and I'm going to ask it in 3 parts, so get your thinking caps on. Was Kingpin blipped and disappeared? Was Daredevil blipped? Or any combination thereof, but he lost half of his power in New York because of all the people who worked for him? And I will sit back and wait for an answer, even though that sucks because it's dead air, but I don't give a shit.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that that it was Matt who got blipped. I'm going to say Matthew got blipped, and which is why Kingpin, I think, has gotten a hold on the city again. Because if you give Kingpin 5 years, he's going to take back that city. And I think that also has to give. I also think that gives Matthew agency, because it seems like Matthew throughout, especially in the later seasons of Daredevil, later episodes of Daredevil, I should say, Matthew was getting more and more hesitant in being Daredevil. He didn't want to be Daredevil anymore. And I think with the return of Kingpin, because picture it, you know, he basically, as Nick said, Kingpin's lost, and then suddenly Matthew's blipped. He comes back, and an instant later, it's five. He's lost 5 years of his life, and he discovers Kingpin's got a hold on Hell's Kitchen again. I think that's going to give agency for Matt to come back hard as Daredevil, and it'll give Kevin Feige a reason to rework Charlie Cox into the MCU.
I'll lie to us.
Yeah.
Lie to our faces.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think Kingpin was blipped because Kate's mom was working with him.
That's true. Yeah.
How was he blipped if that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, she probably would have taken over if he got blipped.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think Matt was blipped and Kingpin wasn't.
So I'm on board with that. I think he was humiliated, but not blipped. I think Matt out of the picture. I mean, if you think about it, even from the legal end, like he wasn't prosecuted at the end of Daredevil season 3. So if, you know, the guy who's going to who's going to send him to jail is gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that to me is the one that makes sense. Plus, it helps me understand like why did we have no Daredevil for 5 years? Like,
well, but then you're like, okay, what happened? What happened to all of those people? Did Jessica get blipped?
it's a very convenient. If all the Defenders got blipped, it'd be very convenient. To migrate.
Can one of them stay blipped?
The skinny white kid?
Yeah, yeah. Pip read my mind on that one, chat. Pip read my mind on that one.
So if Kingpin's back, okay, we'll leave it at that because we don't want to keep going. I will say this, like one of the other things, I'll tell you the last thing that I love about Kingpin, and it was the cherry on top of wrapping this entire series up, was that not only did Kate get to do the snap trick, but it was with Fisk's cufflink.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Brendan had not seen Daredevil season 1, and then last night when he watched it, he was like, "Oh, the cufflink."
You hadn't seen that, Brandon? You hadn't seen?
No, I finished it yesterday.
Oh my God.
Watch a couple random fight scenes whenever I'd be like, "Dude,
Right.
you need to come watch this. You need to watch this whole scene."
Well, I mean,
But, like,
here was the thing that I just felt this growing excitement in me as I was watching, as Pip can attest. I was getting, with every passing moment that Wilson Fisk was speaking, I just got happier and happier because I realized with every word that meant we were one step closer to seeing Charlie Cox again. And if we see Vincent and Charlie, we all know our boy John isn't far behind,
Frank.
taking his belt off, going, "Come on, come on." I mean, because that's the thing. With the exception of Iron Fist, I think it would have been a crime if Disney had not recognized how good the stuff that was being done with both Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., with Jessica Jones, with Luke Cage, and with Daredevil. And and the Punisher. I mean, I know Nick is all about Save Daredevil. I'm all about, can we please have Frank Castle back? Hashtag Where's Frank? Because Frank didn't get blipped. Because Thanos would have been smarter than that. He'd been like,
Even Thanos would be like, "Oh, maybe just leave that one."
I'll let that one slide. Let me let that one slide.
I think we're in agreement. Like, Thomas Jane was great, but Johnny Bernthal was born.
Oh my God, he was born to play it. He was born to play. There's a great story about John Bernthal. He went into a comic book store, and he had he had a stack of Punisher, and he set it down in front of the guy, and the guy was looking at him. He goes, "I know who you are," and Bernthal's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You don't want this, this, and this. You want this, this, and this. Don't screw it up." And he was like, "I got it, bro. I got it. And it was obvious. It was obvious from frame one, moment one. The moment you see Bernthal show up as Frank Castle in Daredevil, Bernthal was there to play. And
I told Brandon, I said, look, if you're going to start season 2, if you're going to watch episode 1, you have to watch episode 2.
Yeah.
Because they take place like one after another, and then 3 and 4 just rip your heart clean out of your chest.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I would dare say the entire Daredevil series, that scene in the graveyard still stands as the greatest thing ever shot for that series. I just love that graveyard scene. It's just,
that's a high bar too.
Yeah, it's a high freaking bar. I know, but anyway, no, and the thing that made me even happier in that final episode was seeing that D'Onofrio was not missing a beat.
No, he just slid right back into it.
I mean, and that tells me if he's not going to miss a beat, then Charlie's not. You know that if they call Deborah, she's gonna be like, all right, when do I show up on set? That kind of thing. It's just great. It was just great.
And that's the play, right? You got to bring back Karen, and you got to bring back Foggy, and I think in descending order, I think you go Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and the other guy. But I mean, so there's a couple other things that, like, the one hidden character in Hawkeye, that really is a legit character when it comes to telling the story is
Lucky the Pizza Dog. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Clint's years as Ronin.
What's that?
Clint's years as in the role of Ronin.
Yeah.
Like, it is so different than everything else ever that he's done. He's a family guy. And all of a sudden he loses everything and just like, this is how I'm going to treat it. It's how I'm going to respond with violence.
As he does.
Which pulls him back into everything. And then what's his reward for coming back into the game? He loses Natasha. And so it's written really, really well in terms of, like, the years as Ronin are, you don't talk to your kids about ugly sweaters and movie marathons if you think that the assassin part of your life is still a part of your life. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're also missing.
Yeah, he had to face up to that, but pretty heavily in the series.
I think you're also.
And then he also had to face up to losing Natasha that bit at the end where Yelena's about to kill him,
Great.
and they have the
Yeah.
conversation. It's just
Phenomenal,
yeah, and using the whistle, of course. It was there's so many nice callbacks. You have to watch Black Widow.
Yeah, you're
Brandon.
right there, Brandon.
Okay.
But I think there's
Your
another
first
character
child.
you're missing there, Nick. Another character you're missing is Clint's wife. I mean, I was like, wait, what's
Who is she?
Yeah, I mean, I always thought of her as just, seriously, just like Clint Barton's
Okay.
wife. She was not connected. She was out. She wasn't. And then suddenly, I'm like, is she part of the system? Is she like former Shield? What is she? And then when
So
when the Rolex shows up, and you see the Shield emblem on the back, I'm sitting there going, what? And so
It's not just the emblem; it's the number.
Okay,
So
Yeah.
Agent 19 was
19.
Mockingbird.
right.
So for the longest time in the comics, well, for some of the longest time in the comics, Clint was married to Bobby Morse, who was Mockingbird.
Right.
And Linda Cardellini, I'll watch Linda Cardellini everything, and the series that she's in with Christina Applegate on Netflix is just insanely good. But the fact that she is a retired Shield agent, who probably was like his man in the chair after that, but the fact that it's her watch the whole how many episodes did you go thinking the watch is just a red herring, right?
Oh yeah.
To
I
get
thought it was something connected with Tony, like some sort of Tony Tech. That was
I thought it was
kicking
I
around.
thought it was a Tony Tech thing as well, or obviously it was something important to Hawkeye.
I'm a Guffin.
Yeah, and I don't believe in MacGuffins in the Marvel movie, in the Marvel film. In the Marvel film, everything matters. Every freaking detail matters. So
well, yeah.
But it was nice. He was just trying to get his wife's watch back.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
When he throws out the line, you need to be more careful with your stuff. That the two of them on screen together are just so good. But yeah, Laura is the wife's name. But the fact that she may or may not have been Agent 19.
I mean, there could be multiple Agent 19s. She could be the retired one, and there's a new one.
Well, and that was Adrian Padalecki's role in Agents of Shield.
Remember,
Yeah.
hey, Pip. Remember, it's just a number, right? It's just a number.
That's good because I had notes, and then you guys hit on a bunch of stuff that I had notes on. The last thing I want to talk about is because we're going to close on an hour. The final scene between Maya and Kingpin.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, super spoilers. Do not listen to this if you don't want the spoilers. I'm telling you right now.
La.
His dialogue to her is, "You and I are family, and family doesn't always see eye to eye." Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the comics, that shot doesn't kill him; it blinds him.
Ooh.
Oh. Ooh.
How about that nonsense? Right?
Oh.
I don't know if they'll go that route, but that's an interesting take.
A very interesting tape.
Oh, and by the way, his wardrobe is 100% comic authentic. The Hawaiian shirt under the white jacket and all that is like from the page, just like Kate's outfits are like exactly from the 2012 run.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, there's so like it can go anywhere. I'm so excited. Like just
I don't think they got rid of him. I think Kingpin's gonna stick around. Obviously, you don't bring D'Onofrio in and then just like
much worse.
yeah.
So I mean, in the comics, he's been blinded. He's been the mayor of New York. It can go absolutely anywhere. But you have this villain who has been central to the Punisher, to Daredevil, to Spider-Man, to like, all these different comics characters, heroes, and you're like, dude, we've got the guy. He can be the guy. And the other lovely rumor that I heard this week was, I won't. Never mind. I won't say it. Is it? Let's think about the shows that are coming up. Echo, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel. Like there are a lot of places for these characters to come back in. Oh, I said Echo and my Echo came on. And even to bring back in Kate and Clint, is Hawkeye a one and done show? Like, is there only one season? That would be criminal, I think. Unless it pivots to the Yelena.
See, the impression I got was that Jeremy Renner was done playing Hawkeye. That was, I mean, granted, that could always be. That's always up. Sean Connery said he was done playing James Bond, and he came back to do Never Say Never Again. So, I mean, if the price is right, Jeremy Renner could come back.
Then you got Kate. She can pick up the.
I'd rather see more of Kate. To be honest with you, I'd rather.
Yeah, so would I.
And that's the running joke with the names at the end of the finale. Like Lady Hawk, like she was Lady Hawkeye in the comics for a while. Like all those bad names, and when he says, "I've got an idea," like you get that's potentially the handoff.
Yeah.
But if Kevin Feige comes to your house, T, and says, Jeremy Renner's definitely the guy playing Hawkeye, but we don't know when and what vehicle and how it's going to be.
I'm going to punch him in the nads so hard. So hard. I will punch him in the nads.
Yeah. Don't do that, because if you do, you're going to need a really good lawyer.
Yes,
so
true. I have a good lawyer. Because look, let me tell you something. You never see Matt Murdock and Blind Gamer Steve in the same room at the same time. I'm just saying.
Well, neither do either of them. So
that's true.
Ouch. I meant to tell you, AT, I don't know if you saw these, but check this out. Let me swap out the glasses I can actually see through for these, and you'll definitely appreciate these. Brandon's going to steal them from me in cosplay, I'm sure. But how great are these?
Oh my God! See, when Brandon wears them, he probably looks like Matt. He probably looks like Matt Murdock. When you wear them, you look like Ozzy.
I know. Yeah. I know.
Stacia! Stacia! I've lived in the country again. Stacia!
Yeah. I read last night that John Madden died, and I was hoping it was Ozzy Osbourne instead, but it wasn't. No. If you've ever worked with the guy or any of his crew, it's a nightmare. Okay. So let's final thoughts, closing thoughts, parting shots, kind of thing. Anybody? We've all the extroverts in the room have talked all over Stacia, so I want to kind of let her go first. Hawkeye.
I loved Hawkeye. We'll watch it again.
I mean,
just like I've watched The Witcher and watched The Witcher over again.
Brandon.
I want Kate Bishop to be in everything from now on. Probably publishing. I don't know. I'm excited to see where everything goes and what characters get to go where, including our lawyers and all of them. So,
yeah. Pip.
I want to see some new Avengers. I want to see who else is going to be slotting into this group, because Black Widow and Kate Bishop, good start.
I think
we also got a new Cap,
and that was sort of the thought, right? Because you had Lady Hydra in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and the thought was that they were going to build out the Dark Avengers with John Walker, Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Yelena as their Black Widow, but take that, Julie Louis Dreyfus. Mm-hmm. And like, who else are they going to build an evil Avengers? And while we're doing all this, we also this is the ground level stuff, but we're still going to get Doctor Strange in the multiverse, and we're going to get Thor: Love and Thunder, and we're going to get all the space stuff, Guardians 3. And I'm going to go to you last, T. But I'm most excited about the punching in the elbows and the super ground level stuff that made all the Netflix shows so good. Yeah. It's not the most signature move of the entire series, but there was a move that Kate did on the ice in the finale where she used her bow to get for it to spring up to get on the guy's shoulders to do the Black Widow move.
Oh my God, that was
And it's just little stuff like that. I mean, we love stunt teams. We love all of the the in close stuff. Daredevil season 3, Brennan, and that I love that way more than 17 Lokis fighting a giant cloud. Right, to your point, earlier. Like it's the stuff that makes them human, and it's why you gravitate to Clint and Kate's horrible relationship with her mom, and everything within 60 minutes in the first episode that just makes you like instantly cheerlead for these two. Where Clint pulls the mask off and he goes, "Come on!" Like it's the humanity of all of it, and that's the stuff that I love. That I way more than shoot rockets and have 70 suits of armor in Iron Man 3 and any of that stuff.
Right.
Yep.
And Nick, that's what you just summed it up. You just summed it up. You summed up why I enjoy Hawkeye so much. Why I enjoyed. I'll even go this. Why I enjoyed WandaVision so much. Because WandaVision wasn't necessarily about the super battles or anything like that. It was about Wanda dealing with grief. And I did a whole YouTube video about this one character that showed up in the opening episode of WandaVision, and you don't see her again until the very end. And she basically encapsulated everything I loved about WandaVision, and it's about that. About the stuff beyond being a superhero, and I loved that. I loved that about a Hawkeye so much. I love that about Falcon and Winter Soldier so much, and that's what keeps me coming back to the MCU. I've heard a lot of people talk about how they're burned out from so much Marvel material, but I'm sitting here going, we've had a lot of stuff thrown at us from the Marvelverse, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But at the same time, what keeps me coming back are when we get beyond the superhero stuff and we get to the nitty gritty of the character themselves. We've been touching on what if, and one of the things that there are my I had two favorite episodes from What If. There was, and it's, don't worry, I'm going to be tying it all back in here.
Again, I'm on board.
Yeah. So
everything with you so far.
Yeah. My one of my favorite episodes was Captain Carter, because I got a crush on Haley Atwell. I'm just going to leave it at that. The other one was Doctor Strange, when he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme, and he imprisons himself in this like little pocket universe, if you will. And the fact that we are getting a revisit of that Doctor Strange in the recent teaser that was released in the Madness of the Multiverse. When I mean, I didn't need anything beyond that. When I saw Cumberbatch come out of the shadows, I was like, "Oh my God, we just got a What If reference," and it's what drove Doctor Strange, what drove that Stephen Strange to that point. That's the story I'm more fascinated by. Not what he can do as a superhero, but what drove him to that point. And I loved everything about Hawkeye. It was a Marvel Christmas story. And you're right, he John McClane the shit out of it, and I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, we go from Endgame, where half the universe has been destroyed, to a series where the biggest victim is a Christmas tree, but it's so grounded, and we can do both. Like I can enjoy the shit out of a Thor movie where Jane gets the hammer, and still love just the I'm gonna punch this guy and knock his teeth out, right? Or Kate Bishop dating advice, so good.
We went to go see Maroon 5 instead. We had a wonderful time.
Well, on the bright side, at least you don't have to see Imagine Dragons. Like,
hey,
it's so to get that callback joke too. Like three episodes later.
Yeah,
just really, really tight writing. The showrunner on Hawkeye was actually one of the story editors on Mad Men. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Oh wow!
Wow. It's Marvel doesn't have to be one scale. No comic book has to be one scale. Like you can have 100 bullets, and you can have Trace, and you can have all of these different comics, and some of them are the universe is exploding, we got to fix it. And some of them are this guy, kidnapped a girl on the college campus. Let's go find her, Hawkeye. So it's it's just that, like, don't assume just because it starts with the Marvel music that everything's got to be save the planet. You know what I mean? And so I love the idea that we're getting the Kamala Khan Miss Marvel as live action. We're getting She-Hulk. What? With, Tatiana Maslany from Orphan Black. It's just there's so many different tiers that I love it. I think it's harder to pull off in a video game, but somehow they still do that because Brandon and I still go back and play Avengers all the time now that they added Spider-Man.
Yes.
No spoilers. I just think it's. I mean, you get Jeremy Renner's personality so into Clint. He's so comfortable playing Clint, just the way that Scarlett was playing Natasha. And then you get this breath of fresh air. You get all these callbacks, and you get all these new people. And it's just such a just I don't even know what the recipe is, but it works, and it works really well. And I will watch it many times like I do Daredevil. So that's just how it goes. I think that's gonna be it because we're over an hour and we're never over an hour on this podcast. This might be too much. I have an excuse to do 2 different releases, but any last thoughts or anywhere people can find you, Pip Valentine? Go.
pjvalentine.com. I'm on all the socials. Kind of quiet over Christmas and New Year, but I'll be back next year because I got a book to promote. So,
Look at Jane on Twitter, by the way.
yes.
Special guest T. Morris.
So, yeah,
Are you on Twitch?
I am on Twitch. Shocker that. I am on Twitch. And I stream Destiny. I stream podcast recordings. I stream Aliens Fireteam Elite with my wife. And if not Aliens Fireteam Elite, I stream Maneater with my wife. She is currently working through the new DLC Maneater Truth Quest, which is absolutely hysterical. It is just as bonkers as the original. The other thing I've been doing with Phil Rossi has been also here on this channel. We are getting into paranormal investigation. And in February, currently slated for February 2022, Phil and I are launching a YouTube series called Old Spirits, where we basically are sharing all of our evidence. And at the rate we're going, it should be fun. It should be fun. And next month we are slated. If they've got great Wi-Fi out there, I will try to stream it. But if all goes well, January 22nd, Phil and I and a group of people are going to be hitting St. Albans Insane Asylum in Radford, Virginia. We'll see how it goes.
Fun.
Yeah.
Mama Wolf.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Anything you want to share, Dr. Kelly?
Stacia Kelly on everywhere you can find me, I guess.
Spell it, because otherwise they're going to get the wrong one.
No, they won't, because I'm the only one on. The other one's not on social media.
Okay.
There are 2 of us.
STACIA, not SIA. That's the wrong one. You'll get back into lawyer speak if we do that. Thermal.
I'm Thermal Wolf everywhere. Thermal Wolf 2 Fs.
Hey T, Magfest? You gonna be making an appearance at Magfest?
Yes, yeah. Unfortunately, Steve Saylor had to cancel his trip here because of COVID. He himself does not have COVID, but the restrictions were just getting a little too out of control. And because of that, I was not going to do the panel without him. And in light of a couple of COVID scares that we had over the holiday, I think I too will be sitting out Magfest this year. I do not feel we're sitting it out anyway because this week we are
things got a little complicated around Christmas.
Things got a little complicated around Christmas, so we're having second Christmas with my mom this week, and then the weekend of Magfest we're having third Christmas. So it's kind of a Hobbit holiday we're having. We're having the Hobbit holiday. We've had first Christmas, we're having second Christmas, and then we're having third Christmas. So that's how it's working.
Dang. All right. We did not.
It's a lot of turkey, believe me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm as always your Papa Wolf Nick Kelly at Nick_Kelly on Twitter. You can find me anywhere else. Please find me on Twitter because I love Twitter because it's good for people who have short attention spans. And you could find all of the information about the Geek Wolfpack podcast in the outro, which I'm going to add once we stop talking and get the hell out of here. So thank you to everybody on the panel, to the Wolfpack, to our guests, to everybody for loving Hawkeye enough to make us do our first episode in 6 months, which is awesome. And chat, let's keep it going. If you have questions and if you have things that you want to talk about, join T's Discord server or our Discord server or any of those things. And we'd love to talk to you when you finally watch this if you haven't watched it so far. So until next time, geek out.
All right. I'm actually going to wrap up stream as well. Thank you, everybody. This was a good time. And I guess we'll be getting together again to talk about the Book of Boba Fett. Because,
oh, my God. Yeah, I'm in.
Oh, man. Let me tell you something. I'm not giving any spoilers, but let me tell you something. Book of Boba Fett, it comes out swinging. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Right, baby?
I am positive that's the case. Okay.
All right, everybody.
All right.
And we're ending
Good
stream.
night.
Good night, everybody.